Iranian vessel was bombed off the coast of Sri Lanka in international waters, and people inside India are saying that somehow it is India's responsibility.
No, it is not India's responsibility. It's not the Indian border. It is international waters. And as per the convention, when you're at war all over and all dimensions of war.
But what can one do in such a scenario, sir? I mean, if America has a submarine lurking somewhere in the international waters. Sir.
No, India is a risen, responsible, resilient nation. We are a regional power. We are a global leader. We can't be told, do this today, don't do this tomorrow, do that. You can't dictate. Strategic autonomy is our vital interest.
So, but also the fact that sometimes our interests will align with America, and that's okay. And sometimes they will not align with America, and that's also okay, sir. In the end, India's interest should be served.
Absolutely. When our interests, our national interests, economic interests, are primary actually. Our national interest and our national assets. That's the primary reason. And we are one ordinary nation which now needs to not only follow the global rules but make the global rules.
So, do you think America went into this conflict without having an exit strategy in place? What does it seem to you?
The West Asia is today divided a lot, if you look at it. So it will be divide and conquer for the Israelis and for the US. Now, how much can they conquer? What all they can do? But the stakes are very, very high.
Mountains eat men.
Mountains eat men. And that is a dream for any military man defending that. So, if Alexander captured it, he captured a different way altogether, if you look at history.
Jai Hind, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Daily Brief by DefenceHQ. We have with us Lieutenant General Vinod Bhatia, former DGMO and Corps Commander, 33 Corps. Jai Hind and a very warm welcome, sir.
Jai Hind and Jai Hind to all your viewers. Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you much.
Sir, recently, sir, Iranian vessel was bombed off the coast of Sri Lanka in international waters, and people inside India are saying that, somehow it is India's responsibility. My first question is it India's responsibility? Was it India's responsibility?
No, it is not India's responsibility. It's not the Indian border. It is international waters. And as per the convention, when you're at war all over and all dimensions of war.
Sure.
Whether it is surface, subsurface, space, land. So this ship, the Iranian ship, was in India, but it was in international waters when a submarine of the US has hit it and destroyed it, killing about 80 of their sailors.
And it had already left India.
Yes, India. It had left India, so it is not India's responsibility in any case. So that means anything happening in India can't be India's responsibility.
Yes.
But the thing to think about is that the war is now in our backyards. Indian Ocean is India's ocean also, and it's very it's imperative that we have a stake out there because it affects our economic security. It affects our strategic security also.
But what can one do in such a scenario, sir? I mean, if America has a submarine lurking somewhere in the international waters, and we all know where the submarines are because that will be mapped and our radars and our sonars would have picked it up, American submarine, but it's entitled to be there in international waters. You can't tell the American submarine, what are you doing here? And suddenly they get a call from Washington, D.C. that, okay, you have this target, or somebody in their command says, go ahead and do it, and they do it. In such a scenario, what can India do, sir?
No, India can't do anything, but we have to safeguard our own interests. That's what I'm talking about. So, not that we can take on the US or anyone. We don't need to do that.
Sure.
But we have to safeguard our own interests. Our own shipping lanes have to be clear, and we have to make sure that our own interests are safeguarded out there. That's what my point is. It is not that we can take on the security of all the shipping which takes place in the Indian Ocean, in the Malacca Straits, otherwise that's not our responsibility at all. That's international rules are there. But our own safeguarding our own assets, our own interests, that is our responsibility, and I think we are doing that very well.
Sure. So oil is the reason why everything is going topsy-turvy. The Strait of Hormuz has been blocked for all practical purposes, and a large chunk of India's energy comes from there. Now, recently, America has said that we'll give you an opening of 30 days and you can buy Russian oil again. Now, I don't understand this, and I would request you to explain to me. Either buying Russian oil is good or it's bad, sir. There was a time when the Americans were saying, please buy Russian oil because there'll be a demand and supply gap. So India went ahead and bought Russian oil. Then Donald Trump came after Joe Biden and he said, no, don't buy Russian oil. Now they're saying, okay, go ahead and buy Russian oil. What is this, sir?
I think it's quite confusing actually. If you ask me, India will look after their interests. We are a major power actually.
Sure.
No, India is a risen, responsible, resurgent nation. We're a regional power. We're a global leader. So we can't be told, do this today, don't do this tomorrow, do that. That you can't dictate. Strategic autonomy is our vital interest.
Sure.
So no one dictating anything to us. It is not that we are not buying Russian oil. We are buying Russian oil.
Sure.
When we got better deals somewhere else, we went somewhere else. So we, if you look at it in the whole thing, India is the least affected, because we are sourcing our oil from multiple sources, multiple nations, multiple places.
Sure.
So that will be the least affected, unlike many other nations which are solely dependent on the Gulf region for their energy needs. We have large energy needs, and today we can safeguard our interests, and we buy oil from wherever we want to buy oil. US can say that, you buy Russian oil only for 30 days. I don't know whether we buy. I think we are buying it earlier also.
We are buying it earlier, we just reduce the quantity,
So
sir.
we reduce the quantity because we're getting better deals somewhere else.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Or an equivalent deal, sir.
And a geopolitical situation such that we thought it would benefit us, our interests.
Yes, sir.
So we are looking at our interests very well. See, our national interests, our geography, our economic power, and our military power drive our stance in the world geopolitics. Right.
Also, sir, one thing, I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir, but also the fact that sometimes our interests will align with America, and that's okay. And sometimes they will not align with America, and that's also okay, sir. In the end, India's interest should be served.
Absolutely. Our interests, our national interests, our interests, economic interests are primary actually. Our national interest and our national assets. That's the primary reason. And if it aligns with the US, fine. If it doesn't align with the US, so what? We're aligning with Russia, we're aligning with China also, like we're doing trade with China.
Yes, sir.
Despite whatever happening on the
Happened along the line of actual control.
we are China's trading partner.
Yes.
So what? We'll do trade any way we want. We'll look after our interests, and that is the law of economics. That is how countries do things. Even the US going to Iran is going for US interests. Okay. Because it is the US interest to do what they're doing in Iran. They want a regime change in Iran. They want a regime change in Iran. They have the power to do it. So that's what I'm saying. And India today is not, we can't be bullied. We can't be saying, well, you do this, you do this, you do this. If it serves our purpose, we'll do it. If it doesn't serve our purpose, we'll not do it.
Like I said, so sometimes that purpose will align with America's purpose. Yes. Sometimes it will not align with America's purpose, and that's okay, sir.
Yeah, absolutely fine. We're not looking at oil only. We're looking at the sub-cheese. This is the whole thing.
Absolutely.
And if in the whole thing, India gains, why not geopolitical, geoeconomics, geotechnology, geostrategy? These drive our interests.
I have a question, sir. Let us say India says, okay, America has a problem with Russian oil. We'll not buy so much Russian oil. Let's reduce it by 90%. This is a hypothetical scenario. But we sign a deal with America that says that, okay, we are making twice the amount of money doing trade with America in a certain other facet. I think when they look at it, or when the government of India looks at it, they look at it as a whole, not just oil. It's everything combined, sir.
Absolutely.
It could be automobile components which are going.
Everything. The trade is, it's a whole of...
it's trade.
It's trade. It's a whole of this thing. So we are a big country. We got to look after the 1/6 of the world's population. We're the largest population in the world.
Yes, sir.
So how do we do that? Is by looking after interests. We don't have to sit on a high moral ground at all. We don't need to. So we have the old cultures, old civilization. We have a culture. We have values. Fine, but that does not mean we will not do what we have to do. If we find that the our interests, like you rightly said, align with the US, we'll go with the US. If it aligns with the EU, we'll go with the EU. If you look at the last 5-6 months, now we have had deals with everyone, whether it is EU, the mother of all deals,
yes,
whether it's the US, we continue to deal with Israel, $10 billion.
Yes, sir.
We are also dealing with Russia. We are dealing in China for that matter.
Canada now, sir.
Canada now. So you look at it, and the global south. Let's not forget the global south, right? The only nation not dealing with right now directly is Pakistan, rightly so.
Sure.
That's a different issue altogether.
No, absolutely.
So we are looking at our interests very well.
Absolutely.
We should have a proud Indian, and we should be very proud of our stance in this confused, disorder, world disorder.
Sure.
I don't say world order, I say world disorder.
Sure.
And we are one ordinary nation, which now needs to not only follow the global rules, but make the global rules.
Absolutely.
Our time has come.
Absolutely, sir. My question to you is now this war is going on and it's raging. I think today is the 7th day or the 8th day, and it's raging, this war. And people are getting killed, and American servicemen are going back in body bags. That entire thing has started. There is pressure in India, but mostly economic pressure. It's not military pressure. And I don't think Iran means us any harm, and we are good enough to look after ourselves. What should India's military posture be today, given the fact that the Middle East is burning, literally burning? And I've never seen the Middle East like this, sir. I've never seen it like this bad. Iran is bombing every country. People are saying we'll retaliate and all of that. And there, across the border, sir, towards the west, Pakistan and Afghanistan are literally hammer and tongs. What should India's military posture be? What should we be looking out for?
We should look out at our own security. Period. I feel the Pakistan-Afghanistan thing was also, it was made to appear that way so that they close the airspace and give a chance to the Americans to go through the Pakistani airspace for Iran. Right? The Pakistan stance is, for with Iran. But I feel there are things which we have to look deeper. Why did they close the airspace? No time was issued. Why? They had to give option to the US to go through Pakistan airspace and hit Iran. Though Iran will be hit in the west, definitely. But this eastern option also cannot be ruled out. So I feel that this is a bigger game going on, and India has to look after its own security interests. Our posture has to be ready. In my time, we used to call NWNP, no war.
No war, no peace, sir. Yes, sir.
Now we are NWNP, near war, no peace. Okay. So we have to be ready for all contingencies. We have to protect our interests in the seas. We'll have to protect our interests in the surface, because if things go wrong, and Pakistan is Pakistan, we know what Pakistan can do. It can, needle us to, start escalating also.
Correct.
Because the Pakistani army gains from an anti-India stance. We have to understand the relevance of the Pakistani army, the economic relevance, the political relevance, their domestic relevance is because of anti-India stance.
Sure.
Right? So we'll have to be very firm out there. As a China is concerned, I think we have gotten over 2020, but we should not let our guard down. So we still have a 300-400 kilometers contested borders out there. We've done very well out there. For the first time, the PLA has gone back from territories. Otherwise, if you look at China, their strategy is always, claim, occupy, legitimize, integrate and exploit. Right. So they have claimed for many years. They have occupied it, and then they went back also, in the 2024 deployment.
Sure.
So my point is, now we have to look our head trust. We have to be very high vigil. Things can go downward, it can go south, and we'll have to be vigilant. We have to be strong enough, and we are strong enough, but we'll have to focus more on the seas this time.
Sure. So there's one question that I'd like to ask you, which is very, very interesting, and it's being discussed very widely over the internet and on television channels, etc. Now, in the army, we talk about routes of ingress and egress. So it's easy to enter a war. It's easy to initiate conflict. It's very difficult to get out, because it's like quicksand, sir. And somebody was saying something which I really loved. They said that when you initiate your any conflict, any war, when you initiate it, you're the only person. But after you've initiated it, so there are two people. Now, you can't switch it off, because the other person is not switching it off. So, do you think America went into this conflict without having an exit strategy in place? What does it seem to you?
No, let me go back a little. I go back to Prime Minister Vajpayee, so one of the strategic thinkers and a great man. When the Parliament attack happened, he said, "Aar paar ki ladai ho gayi abhi," if you recollect that.
Sure.
And we went into Operation Prakram. After about 7-8 months, someone asked him, Prime Minister, you had said "Aar paar ki ladai," but it's not happening. Why? He said, "I can start the war today, but I don't know when and where to finish." Okay. So America,
which is a very fair strategy,
very fair one, because anyone can start a war.
Sure.
But what is the end state you're looking at? So US had declared the end state as regime change, but they're not sure what regime change. Okay. So that is ambiguous. Regime change could be, though Mr. Trump has made a statement that Ayatollah's son is not acceptable.
Yes, sir. Not acceptable to him.
But it can change also. He can be, ruling from the backstage also. So they have to have an end state, and they have to have an exit strategy. And the Americans, I'm sure, given that they have been drawn in. It was earlier, the British were very smart. They understood. So let me give you a Kushwant Singh geography a minute.
So
in terms of the geopolitics, there was a question asked from a Frenchman, a Chinese, and a Pakistani. What do you think of honest democracy in the rest of the world? Right. The Frenchman says, "I don't know," and an American also. The Frenchman says, "I don't know English." The Chinese says, "I don't know democracy." The Pakistani says, "I don't know honesty," and the American says, "I don't know what is the rest of the world."
So
okay, so that sums it up. The Americans have not understood the Iranians. Let me also say, after so many years, after two regime changes, 53 and 79, regime change may not be easy in Iran, because the will of the people is old civilization. If it doesn't come easy, the cost will rise. And Americans do not have the appetite to put boots on the ground, let me say.
So how do you militarily unplug? I have not understood this till now, and I just request you to explain how, once you go in, whether you go in by air or by sea, air or sea operations are already there, sir. May not be boots on the ground. They're talking of putting Kurds there or whatever. How do you militarily unplug? Can Trump just switch it off one fine morning and say that, I'm not interested? Can he do that?
That is a very interesting question. You see, the world has changed. That's a networked world. Sure. Today, the most important warfare is cognitive warfare, information war.
Absolutely.
If you look at the last few wars, Azerbaijan, Armenia. If you go to Azerbaijan, we went there. Azerbaijan said we were victorious. Armenia said we were victorious. Right. You take Russia and Ukraine. Russia has won. Ukraine has not lost. You take Israel, Palestine. Israelis have won. Palestine not lost. They're not given up. Right. You take off Sindoor, for that matter. India has done fantastically well. Everything was achieved. But Pakistani thinks they won.
Sure.
Okay, you get my point.
So
today, when you look at America, America will close the operation that they want to say that we have achieved the end state of regime change. After all, they were taken out the leadership. No, that the next regime may be more anti-US than the earlier regime.
Sure.
That's a separate question altogether. I think the more interesting part would be to see how Israelis, pull out. Because the British understood these and they said divide and rule like in India. Today it's divide and conquer. They divided the Gulf region. The West Asia today divided a lot, if you look at it. So it will be divide and conquer for the Israelis and for the US. Now, how much can they conquer? What all they can do? But the stakes are very, very high. And now the US has said that we will fund the insurance of the Strait of Hormuz. Pakistan, thing, the terrain of Iran is totally different. If you fly over Iran from we are military people, so we always look at the terrain as from the military viewpoint. It is very rugged. It is very, very rugged. We just can't go in and start capturing things. They have very few routes. There are very few roads, and it's a dream for defense.
Mountains eat men.
Mountains eat men, and that it is a dream for any military man defending that.
Sure.
If Alexander captured it, he captured a different way altogether. Sure. If you look at history, it will not be other way. You can't have mechanized column going around and doing things. So the missile warfare, the air warfare continues. 600 sorties a day. That's what they're generating.
But otherwise, it's an infantry grind, sir. If you decide to put so that boots on the ground is
no. In any case, the Americans don't have the appetite for boots on the ground. The Israelis don't have the capacity for boots on the ground. So they will pull out. Like the key question is, they will declare a victory and pull out. Right now, that victory will be seen in the long term. What happens? So that's my way. And I hope they do it fast enough.
Yes.
For the sake of the world.
Thank you very much for joining us, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, with Lieutenant General Vinod Bhatia, we discussed the entire gamut of operations, this sinking of the Iranian boat. What is India's responsibility? And what should India's military posture be? Thank you for watching the Daily Brief by DefenceHQ. We are going to be back again shortly with another special guest. Till then, Jai Hind.